Spike Reynolds walks with Joe Hochanadel over to mat 5 to get him ready for his match as his opponent is checking in. Stephen Vigil of Delta. Hochanadel goes over and checks in. Vigil already there from Delta. Hochanadel comes over and looks like Joe will be red. He'll be the red wrestler, so we'll look for the red score. Or red and green, away or home. Joe will be the away wrestler in this match. Both wrestlers start tying up on the whistle. Hochanadel trying to set up his shot. Hochanadel now pushing by, goes down for a single leg. Picks up the single leg, switches to a double, and pushes his opponent, pushes Vigil down to the mat. But Vigil stands right back up. Now Hochanadel with a bear hug gets around beside him and pushes into Vigil. Vigil trying to do a sit-out switch in the middle of that takedown. Hochanadel ends up pushing him out of bounds. Both wrestlers up, no points awarded, as both wrestlers walk over to the center of the mat. Hochanadel ranked first at 215-pound weight class. Vigil not ranked at all, or not ranked in the top 6. Hochanadel and Vigil now grabbing each other's wrist, trying to keep control of the wrist, so their opponent doesn't have any control or any way of shooting without them catching it. Hochanadel pushes into Vigil, and Vigil drops down for a single leg. Hochanadel pulls him back up, both wrestlers on their feet. Hochanadel fighting with Vigil again, goes down for a double leg, and this time gets it, has got Vigil down on his seat. Vigil now rolls over to his stomach, and Hochanadel gets the first 2 points of the match with 46 seconds left in the first period. Hochanadel now working on that arm, trying to get that arm bar back there, the hammerlock, behind Vigil's back. Hochanadel reaches over and grabs the cradle now as Vigil's head was caught too close to his knee. Now Hochanadel just got to pull him over and get him onto his back. Hochanadel lets go of that as Vigil held it just long enough for Hochanadel to get bored with the cradle, and Hochanadel stands up and lets Vigil up as Vigil goes to step away. Vigil taps Hochanadel on the forehead. Hochanadel reaches in, taps his head, and then goes in for a single, switches to a double, locks up around those legs, and drops Vigil back down to his side. Hochanadel with another 2 points. At the end of one, Hochanadel leads 4-1.
Quiznos and Sterling and Fort Morgan both located off I-76. Wishing the local wrestlers good luck. Got a tax refund, but not sure how to use it. Get a new computer at New Age Electronics in Sterling. And Griffith Auto Electric in Sterling specializes in generator, welder, and small engine repair. 522-0160. Again, we won't see a Tiger wrestler. The only one here is Braden Zink, and he'll be wrestling in the first round consolation, probably a good half hour away.
Graulis coming up on mat 2 with Moises Akala. It's hard to pronounce that name. Akala from Ranham. As Hochanadel takes Vigil back down and puts him down on his side. Vigil trying to pull Hochanadel over onto his back. Hochanadel fights back over to his base as Vigil under him, sitting on his hip, trying to use that power half to pry Hochanadel over. Hochanadel not letting go of the single leg that he's got, and Vigil has got his leg turned almost at a 90-degree angle. The ref calls a stalemate, and both wrestlers are going to end up on their feet in the middle of the mat. Graulis comes in on mat 2 with Akala from Ranham, Graulis from Fort Morgan. As they get ready, put on their leg bands or ankle bands. Wrestlers shake hands, and Graulis immediately goes into locking up with Akala. Akala looks to be a little bit bigger than Graulis. Graulis has a lower stance, but gives up a little bit of weight. Vigil goes for a shot on Hochanadel. Hochanadel throws him off to the side and pushes him away. Graulis pushes Akala off pushes his hands off as he dances back around to the center of the circle. Akala slowly walking over. Graulis goes in, and Hochanadel gets another touchdown. He gets another takedown with 7-1 the score now as he's trying to stack Vigil on his shoulders. Vigil's head down in the mat. Hochanadel now reaching behind his leg for a cradle, doesn't quite get that. Graulis locked up with Akala, now pulls down, whips Akala down, goes in for a single. Akala stops him and pushes him in. Hochanadel's got Vigil on his back with the cradle, getting back points. Vigil comes out. Hochanadel almost, as Vigil gets away and gets the escape and pushes Hochanadel out. Hochanadel almost in trouble. 10-2 to score in that match. It's still 0-0 in the match between Graulis and Akala. 47 seconds left on that in the first period in that match. Both wrestlers. Akala taps his foot like he's going to go for a shot. Graulis sprawls out just a little bit and kind of shakes. Akala now tied up tight with Graulis. Going to try to whip Graulis by, it looks like, as Graulis gets the collar and elbow. And Akala not letting Graulis go as Graulis pulls off one side. Akala puts up the other one. Hochanadel on the mat still. Looks like he's a little hurt. Spike comes over to check on Joe as Joe leads the match 10-2. Vigil over with his coaches, getting some direction. Both wrestlers still locked up. Kyle tries to whip Akala by. Akala whips back over by him. Spike attending to Joe Hochanadel as Hochanadel still on the mat, still hunched over. With some movement, though, it looks like he's going to be okay. He's going to get up. Might have just wrenched his knee or something. Graulis starts on the bottom at the beginning of the second period. Akala holding him down. Now putting in the leg ride on Kyle Graulis. Graulis trying to come out the back door on Akala. Akala throws in the double grapevine now and is trying to use that as Graulis gets his hips out and both wrestlers out of bounds have to restart. Right off the whistle, Hochanadel ends up giving Vigil almost giving him an escape. And Vigil puts Hochanadel onto his back, but Hochanadel rolls over immediately to his stomach. Vigil now riding way high. Hochanadel leads the match 10-4 with 1:39 left in the third. Graulis trying to get away from Akala, and he gets up and away, gets the point of the match in the second period as he's going to get the escape point. 1-0 now in favor of Kyle. Kyle now jumping behind Akala, goes for a leg trip, now drops down to a single leg. Akala fights it all off and then goes for a single leg on Graulis. Graulis pushing Akala up and standing up straight and tall. 1:25 left in the third period. 10-4 still to score in the Hochanadel match. Hochanadel on bottom. And Akala throws Graulis to the mat and tries to get around for the takedown. Graulis fighting that off, spinning with Akala as he's got a hold of the inside leg. Hochanadel up on his feet. And Vigil.
Ooh, and there's a takedown for Graulis' opponent, Akala.
Akala ran him as Graulis tries to pull Akala forward over the top and go for a roll. Hochanadel breaks away and gets now 11 points in the match over Vigil's 4. And then puts Vigil back down on the mat, almost getting the takedown, but both wrestlers end up out of bounds. Graulis trying to come out the back door with Akala again. Akala with Graulis laying on top of him. Akala's back on him. Graulis trying to flip over and face him, but both wrestlers end up out of bounds as Akala, if Graulis could have gotten turned around, he could have gotten some back points and a reversal on that one. Akala with the scissor around Graulis' waist. Hochanadel now with the monkey tail on Vigil.
He's up 13-4, is it?
13-4 with 35 seconds left in the third period on that one.
Graulis down 2-1 as he tries to stand up.
Stands up, faces Akala. Now he's just got to break the lock that Akala has around his waist, and he will get the escape. Akala trips him right back down to the mat. Graulis fighting now as Akala trying to set up another pinning combination. Graulis gets back up to his base. Akala pushing his forehead into the mat, and Hochanadel's got Vigil on his back and the pin. 10 seconds left.
Just as he does that, Kyle Graulis gets the reversal.
5:50 in the match. Joe Hochanadel pins Vigil, Stephen Vigil of Delta.